Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stearns History Museum. I am Tim Hoheisel, the Executive Director, and we are here tonight to announce a fantastic new partnership with the Smithsonian Institution. This has been on my calendar for a long time, and the genesis of this, the origin of this partnership, this idea, is something that I brought to the Board of Directors in interviewing for this job. I've been here at the museum now for 3.5 months, for a very, very long time, since July of this year. And when the board asked me in the interview, like the other candidates, what do you think you could do to help raise the profile of the Stearns History Museum? And I said, well, there's this affiliation program with the Smithsonian Institution, and if we partner with them, we can have access to their collections, programs, exhibits, speakers, educational curriculum, all kinds of great things, membership benefits. And they said, well, that sounds like a pretty good idea. You're hired. So that's all it took. It was just like that, right, Barkley? But that was in the interview, and then in the board meeting in July of this year, I brought the proposal to the board. The board voted on it and approved it. And so here we are tonight, announcing this fantastic Smithsonian Affiliations program, project, partnership, collaboration, whatever you want to call it. And so the question that I'm sure you're thinking about right now is, what is the Smithsonian Affiliation and what will it mean for the museum? So the Smithsonian Institution in 1996 established this affiliation program, and I'm not going to take all of Harold Klosser's thunder, but I just want to announce this real quick. So we have the Smithsonian Institution in 1996 establishing this program to get the Smithsonian out to smaller museums across the country. And it began with a half dozen museums, and right now in 2013 there are 180 or so Smithsonian affiliation museums in the country, and we are proud to be one of them. So I will turn it over right now to Mr. Harold Klosser, who is here from Washington, D.C., from the Smithsonian. He will talk about this partnership from their perspective. On his left is Mayor Dave Kleiss, and then to his left is our board president, Barclay Carrier, and then on the end is Jeff Mergen of the County Commission. So a few minutes from each of them to talk about how important this is to the organization and to the community. So Harold, thank you.
Thank you very much, Tim. I didn't realize that it's up to me to help you keep your job now. But it's a great honor to work with you and to work with all of your staff and members of the community, mayor, commissioner, president of the board. All of you are so important to the quality of this museum, which is absolutely abundant and clear. I spent all day today going through the exhibits and the storage areas and the archives, and it is absolutely clear that you're doing great work in this museum, and that's why the Smithsonian is so proud to start this partnership with the Stearns History Museum. If I can go off script just for a second, I was told that the drink that was made for you all, that you're drinking, is called a Smithson Sunrise, named after our benefactor, James Smithson. And I think he would be very intrigued and curious about this drink. James Smithson was an English scientist. He died in 1829 and left an enormous fortune to the United States to create the Smithsonian. He had never visited the Smithsonian, never visited the United States, and was not known here. But he thought that there was great promise in this country, and so he left this enormous fortune to the United States to create the Smithsonian. But he was a scientist, a geologist, a mineralogist, and he studied, he discovered a mineral called smithsonite, and studied, as the fashion of the day for gentleman scientists might have been, studied everything and anything, and wrote a paper on the composition of a woman's tear, and wrote another paper on better ways to brew coffee. Studied the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in the 1820s. So I think if he had seen this drink, he would have pulled out his scientific instruments and boiled things down and tried to figure out exactly what went in it. So I hope you're enjoying it, at least. Yeah. Since the time of James Smithson's bequest, the Smithsonian, as you probably know, has grown into the largest museum and research complex in the world. We are 19 different museums and the National Zoo and about 9 major research centers in various parts of the country. And one of our largest is in Panama, the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute. We have about 500 employees there. We have a very strong research program in astrophysics and operate for NASA the Chandra X-ray telescope, which has been responsible for some of these breathtaking pictures and really stunning discoveries of how big is the universe and are there other planets around other solar systems and things of that sort. So it's a very broad and diverse enterprise. As you also probably know, we are the stewards of some of the nation's most important treasures, the original Star-Spangled Banner, the flag that Francis Scott Key saw when he wrote the national anthem, the desk that Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence on, the Charles Lindbergh's Spirit of St. Louis, and he came from around here, and the hat Lincoln wore on the night he was assassinated, and so many other things. We have, according to latest estimates, 137 million objects in the Smithsonian collections. Granted, a large number of those are freeze-dried insects, but we have the largest mosquito collection in the world. And all of these collections are extremely important for research and biodiversity. But if you take away all the insects, we still have a significant number of artifacts of the type that people come to see and people appreciate and people want us to take care of. But we know that we can't do this by ourselves. And we know that we can't do the work that museums need to do by ourselves. We want to tell all of America's story, but we can't do that here just in Washington. And we can't just leave these artifacts in storage that we can't display. So we created this program to create a robust network of partners that we could work with on a long-term basis to share our collections, share our exhibits, work more closely with the schools to help reinvigorate and revitalize education in America, especially education in history and the humanities. And so this partnership for us is a very important step towards reaching outside of Washington, reaching into the local community, and sharing with like-minded partners the assets and the resources and the goals and hopes and aspirations. We do have a long history of partnership in Minnesota that we're very proud of, and that goes back to before Minnesota became a state. In 1849, we had weather watchers in Minnesota that were sending daily information about weather by telegraph to the Smithsonian, where the forerunner of the National Weather Service was created. Big map in the castle that would show dots of the daily weather report. So meteorology was an unborn science at that time. In 1852, in partnership with the Minnesota Historical Society, we published a very seminal study of Native American languages, of the Dakota language, and that as so many languages are disappearing now, some of that early research on Native American languages is the only thing left to preserve these languages and help transmit them back to the future. Francis Densmore, whose name may be familiar to you, was a piano teacher in Minneapolis, who had a most prolific career as a collector of Native American music and language, and worked very closely with the Smithsonian for a long, long time. In 1907, she donated 2,000 cylinder discs, the first form of phonograph technology, wax cylinders. She donated 2,000 wax cylinders to the Smithsonian, representing some of her research on Native American languages in Minnesota and Wisconsin, and continued to work with the Bureau of American Ethnology, which was a part of the Smithsonian. For her very long career, she worked until she was 100 years old. It passed away in 1957. And her work is legendary in anthropology and in the Smithsonian. And I gather that one of your colleagues is working on a book on her now, which is a great thing. Since that time, I think if you were to walk through any of the Smithsonian museums, you would see something from Minnesota, whether it's Prince's guitar or Bob Dylan's jacket, artifacts related to Hubert Humphrey or Walter Mondale, both of whom, by the way, were regents of the Smithsonian, were members of our highest governing group. Artists who came from Minnesota may have painted during the WPA, and aspects of Minnesota's history in farming, in manufacturing, in innovation and technology, in health sciences, you name it. So there's lots and lots of reasons for us to have this partnership with the Stearns History Museum. There's a great history with Minnesota, and there's a lot that we can do together, and we're very anxious to get it underway. So I would just like to end by thanking all of you for coming out tonight, for being supporters of the Stearns History Museum, because that is the most essential thing for museums and cultural institutions these days, is to have the support of the community that they serve. These are tough times. These are fragile organizations, and they only succeed because of you and your support. So I thank you again very much for having me here. All of you have been very kind and warm in our conversations, and I've really enjoyed this. And I hope to come back and see you all very soon, and likewise come visit us in Washington. And thank you, and thank you for your support of this partnership.
First, I'll let you know that Ned Atkins did offer to take my spot tonight, but we only have the room until 7. But on behalf of the Stearns County Board of Commissioners, I'd like to congratulate everyone that's been involved with this first-of-a-kind celebration in Minnesota. And I'd also like to thank Harold for making the trip to God's country, Stearns County, Minnesota. Congratulations need to be extended to the Historical Society Board, which initiated the recruiting process, and especially the employees that keep it going, that work here. The selection committee did a phenomenal job. I don't believe they could have come up with a better person. Most of all, though, congratulations to Tim. He's the one that his unbridled enthusiasm has been nothing short of spectacular. It's he's open for suggestions all of the time. He's very amenable that way. He's brought a great deal of success in the short time that he's been here, and I hear people talking about the Stearns County History Museum on the street now. People have asked me about it, and that has never ever happened previously. So again, congratulations to everyone that was involved on behalf of the Stearns County Board, and this appears to be only the beginning. Thank you.
Well, thanks, and I'm Dave Kleiss, Mayor of St. Cloud, and on behalf of the city, again, this is an exciting opportunity for partnerships. The city of St. Cloud's all about partnerships, so having the ability for the Stearns County History Museum to partner with the Smithsonian, which is, really an exciting day. There's nothing that's more prestigious than the Smithsonian name when it comes to history. And so that is an exciting thing and to be the only community and county in the state to have that in Minnesota. I will have to correct you, and I hope you do come back. Minnesota has the largest mosquito population, but it's you'll have to come back in the summer to verify that. You know, St. Cloud and Stearns County, it has a tremendous, you know, there's a tremendous, you know, and I do appreciate Tim and the board and all of the work, because you really are creating some excitement. There's a renewal of history, I think, that I haven't seen in a long time in this area. And you know, as somebody who is, I graduated with a history major from St. Cloud State University, and I give history tours now. And Bill Morgan, I give. Actually, I've read all of his. Well, a number of folks that have written, but Bill was on my first history tour, so I felt a little nervous at the beginning of my history tour, because all the stuff that I was going to make up, I couldn't, because there'd actually be someone there to verify it all, so I was a little uncomfortable. But the history and the renewal, the revitalization of that is really because a lot of folks, and again, I started doing these tours too, and recently, and just the amazing, really, people are searching for that aspect, that past, that all draws us together, is that common bond of our history, and it's rich in this area. And you know, when I graduated from St. Cloud State, I would have never been able to do a history tour. In fact, I had to dye my hair gray a little bit just recently otherwise nobody would even, you know, there's no credibility at all, so that's why I did that. But you know, the aspect of history and the aspect of Stearns County, and it's great to have that piece of it, because you're right, there's a lot of, you go to the Smithsonian and there's a lot of pieces of Minnesota, but you know, there's a lot of, when I talk about how connected we are nationally, international, right here in Stearns County. So there's a lot of what you have in the Smithsonian that's here because of those connections, and this is such a rich area for history, and it's something that we're very proud of. So congratulations on the Stearns County History Museum. We're really excited about the partnership, and we're excited about more and more great things that will take place here in our community. So thank you.
As a president of the board of the Stearns History Museum, I want to thank you all for being here, for supporting the museum. We'd invited Governor Dayton to come here this evening, and he was unable to attend, not the least of which he's recovering from, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, thank you. I had it here. Again, we invited Governor Dayton this evening. He was unable to attend, but he did provide a proclamation that I'd like to read to you right now. Whereas established in 1846 by an act of Congress, the Smithsonian Institution is a group of museums and research centers administered by the United States government. And whereas in 1996, the Smithsonian established the Smithsonian Affiliations program as a means to share its collection of over 137 million artifacts and specimens with qualifying organizations through enrichment programs, exhibits, and many other opportunities. And whereas the Stearns History Museum has a rich history and cultural heritage and remains a powerful attraction for the tens of thousands of people who visit this museum every year, and whereas the Stearns History Museum is the only museum in Minnesota with the sole focus and responsibility of collecting, preserving, interpreting the material culture of Stearns County, and whereas the Stearns History Museum staff provides ongoing and effective educational opportunities for all Minnesotans through the museum, library, archives, programs, events, and publications. And whereas nationally credited by the American Alliance of Museums, the Stearns History Museum enjoys a professional reputation among the more than 17,000 museums in the nation for its facilities, focus on strategic mission, and maintenance of professional museum standards and best practices. And whereas the Stearns History Museum has met the Smithsonian Institution's strict program requirements and demonstrated its ability to assist in telling the nation's story, the Smithsonian Institution has extended an invitation to the Stearns History Museum to join more than 170 partner organizations in the United States, Puerto Rico, and Panama as a Smithsonian affiliate as part of the Smithsonian Affiliates program. Therefore, Mark Dayton, Governor of Minnesota, does hereby proclaim on November 12, 2013, as Stearns History Museum Smithsonian Affiliation Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Markley. Thank you, Jeff, Dave, Harold. I want to say a few more things before we go tonight, and I need to put on the spot my staff, my employees who are all outside in the hallway. Can you rope them in here so we can at least see them? John and Hillary, John, get in here, you guys. Sarah, who else is out there? There's Adam. Yeah, there they are, in the back. They are outside. They're bashful, so. And Debbie up front here. And the other group I want to put on the spot is the rest of our board of directors. We have our board president up here, but the rest of our board, Doug, who else is here? Tim, Phil, Pat, who else is here? Bruce is in the front. Tom, stand up, everyone's in the board. Bill Carlin back there. Whoever else says, stand up and take a bow. Yeah. And Jim Davis, we have Dan Tideman, Pat Weber, I'm coming to the board. So thank you all very much. And those are the guys behind the scenes who are making up all the policies and making sure we're in the right direction and we're doing everything that we were supposed to be doing. So what this means, the Smithsonian Affiliation, over the next coming few months and years, we're going to roll this program out gradually. There are so many different benefits and opportunities for us, from programs to exhibits to internships to educational opportunities for grade school kids, for streaming video, for presentations, speakers. So bigger things like exhibits and more long-term things will take a while to plan, to implement. So pay attention to those kinds of things. If you are a member of the museum, you will see all those in the newsletter, in our email blasts we send out. If you are not a member, you should be. So please join. I would be derelict in my duty, right, if I didn't ask for membership. What this will mean to people who are currently members is you'll be getting even more for your money as a member. So the value will increase significantly because of the things we have to offer. Museum members have free admission, come to programs for free. You can take advantage of a breakfast club, book club. Those are all free. If you're not a member, you have to pay for each one of those separately. So membership benefit value is tremendous. I want to encourage you tonight before you leave. We had some musicians out in the gallery. Christina Seaborn was playing out there, and feel free to walk through the gallery, check out our exhibits. We have a brand new exhibit on display, Power on the Prairie, Rural Electrification in Stearns County and rural Minnesota. Partnered organization with Stearns Electric. I know Dave is here. Dave Grunis is right there. There he is, Stearns Electric. So thank you very much for your support on that brand new exhibition. Just opened up on November 4th, so go ahead and take a look at that. I also want to thank DB Searles, Andy Barth, and Nick Barth, and Dan Barth, and however many 8 or 9 more Barths there are. The Barth family is fantastic. They donated the food for tonight from DB Searles, Nick's third floor, Christina's Sweets, the cheesecake, and also Rick Gates in the back. There he is, way in the back from the Red Carpet Martini Lounge. Thank you for the martinis, Rick. Appreciate that. Now, I do have some good friends. I have a lot of friends in the museum world, but I have some good friends at the museum, the State Historical Society in Pierre, South Dakota, whom Harold knows, Jay Smith and Jay Vogt, the 2 J's. And I was talking to them in October at a conference about how they made their Smithsonian announcement in January, and what they did, and how they rolled this out to the public in Pierre, South Dakota. And they said they did this and they did that, and they had a reception, they had everything else, and they had a nice big Smithsonian cake on the front table. And I said, well, cake is fine, but you can't do this with the cake. Raise your glass if you have one. And let's make a toast to a partnership with the Smithsonian, our Smithson-inspired cocktails, courtesy of the Red Carpet. So thank you. Thank you all for coming tonight. Any last words, final comments, suggestions, questions, debate? Thank you all very much. Yeah, Roger.
This is a mini historical day. We've been signing checks today. It's 11, 12.
Oh, 11, 12, 13, indeed, yes. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
If you're German, that'll happen again next month.
Thank you all very much for coming tonight. Have a good night, and we hope to see you all again very soon. Thank you.